The tree of death leads all to life. The tree of life will heal the world and
who is coming to reign. Glory to Jesus, the Lamb that was slain. Life and salvation, his empire shall bring, and joy to the nations when Jesus is King. Sing to the King who is coming to reign. Glory to Jesus, the Lamb that was slain. Life and salvation, his empire shall bring, and joy to the nations when Jesus is King. Yeah. And come, let us sing a song declaring we belong to Jesus. Oh, and here's all we need, and lift up a heart of praise. Sing now with voices raised to Jesus. Oh, yeah. Sing to the King. For his returning, we watch and we pray. We will be ready, the dawn of that day, and we'll join in singing with all our redeemed. For Satan is vanquished and Jesus is King. Oh yeah, come let us sing a song declaring we belong to Jesus. Oh, and here's all we need, and lift up a heart of praise. Sing now with voices raised to Jesus. Oh, sing to the
Morning, Imago. Hello, my beloved. My name is Sarah Dyer. My pronouns are she, her. I just first want to welcome you here. We're wrapping up the Sermon on the Mount series, so I'm excited to hear from Pastor Melinda. But I'm going to share a little bit of a brief story today about how I came to Imago and how Imago became my home. So about 13 years ago, give or take, I was finishing up my undergrad studies at U of I in Champaign. I was involved with InterVarsity Christian Fellowship and torn between attending St. John Catholic Church and the Twin City Bible Church down there. And it was maybe my mid-faith crisis, we'll call it that. So I would come home to Peoria intermittently and was coaxed by my brother John and my uncle Steve Martin, not the comedian, but an amazing carpenter, and he actually helped restore some of the pews that you all are sitting in now. So when I first joined, it was down at the Gateway building, which is the beautiful building down on the riverfront. And I transitioned as we went from the Gateway building to the Arcadia building, which is also a beautiful church over off of Knoxville. There will never be music like the music, the echo, and the sounds in the little small chapel off to the side there. But I kept coming back to Imago. I was drawn to the generous orthodoxy. And I had a strong love for tradition growing up in the Catholic Church. I appreciated the authentic community outreach that Imago provides and the intellectually stimulating lessons that gave safe space for questions. And I stayed here as we transitioned through all of those buildings and landed here at the Parkview building. As an Enneagram 9, for any of you who got to go to the conference or heard from Pastor Casey, I wasn't here, but I listened in on his sermon. I meander a bit, and that's what my involvement at Imago looked like. I started in the back doing slides. I helped and volunteered in the children's ministry and teaching Sunday school classes. I was nudged to try out for worship team when we were here and shyly rehearsed, but then became steadily involved, eventually landing a spot among the worship leaders here. So I share these things, dear Imagoans, because it is us, we, that make up this community. As Pastor Casey last week reminded us that we are in year 14, and that big changes occur every 7 years. So I invite you to listen to the whisper or pay attention to the little nudge that may be stirring you to get involved. In September, we have Vision Sunday that's coming up. So I'd like you to keep your eyes open and your hearts open as well to see if there's a space or place where you may get involved here. And we invite you, and that is really how I came to know community and why I love Imago for the community here. To bring things, though, in full circle, July sometimes is a tough month. Well, March and July. As I mentioned, my brother John and my uncle Steve both brought me here to Imago. I will cry a little, so it's okay to cry. But my uncle just celebrated his retirement from carpentry, and his birthday was July 7th. July 8th would have been my brother's 40th. But the last day that I spent with my brother was in the pew back there. March 17th, my birthday. We were here with him and his son, Bear, sitting next to us. But that was 5 days before my brother took his life. If you want to ask me more stories, I'd love to share about my brother John over coffee, and I might invite you to join our worship team. But as we come back to today, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my brother and for my uncle. My brother, a U.S. Army drill sergeant veteran, and my uncle, a carpenter. An unlikely pair, but both with a deep love for me and for each other. So please join us in singing our first song here today, Open Up. It's a song based off the prayer of St. Francis, who was a lover of all creation, and I believe that Imago is a lover for all of you created. You're welcome to stand for this if you want to sit, whichever way you feel led to worship this morning.